with Miss Marvel. Yeah, season 1, episode 3. Moving on, we're going to do 2 episodes tonight and then hopefully another 2 episodes tomorrow. But yeah, this is episode 3 and I am very I hope, because judging by the end of last episode, this episode is going to be either very confusing or very enlightening. So it has the potential to go either way, because did we see it right? Is Aisha back? The previous holder of the bangle that Kamala is now wearing. Is she back? And is she actually... Oh, she's obviously Cameron's mum, but is that actually Aisha, or is this something else? I don't know. And we'll see if there is any consequences to what Kamala did last episode, when she did save the boy, but it wasn't very flawless, and I quite like that. I like that her first time rescuing someone didn't exactly go straight to plan, but you know what? Good effort trying, and she actually did save his life, so that was good. But we'll see where this goes, so no more dilly-dallying around, and let's just get into Season 1, Episode 3 of Miss Marvel, starting right now! Okay. I said at the beginning, did I think this episode was going to be either confusing or enlightening? Honestly, it's not much of either. Well, actually, very enlightening. We thought it was Aisha in the back of the car last episode that was Cameron's mum. Turns out it wasn't. Turns out she might be actually the villain of this season. But yeah, at the beginning we got a flashback to 1942, and I love getting the history of Aisha and where this... Well, we don't even really know where this bangle came from. And then... Yeah, so just a flashback to the 1940s about how they found the bangle and how they said it was going to try and get them home. So that's enlightening for a little bit. And then the scene after that in the house was very enlightening, when we found out that these people, that Aisha, those people, Cameron, and even Kamala and her family are from a different dimension. Well, they're from a different dimension, but they've all got this, the Noor dimension, it's called, N-O-O-R, yes. So they're from that, and the bangle helps them unlock their energy. Obviously, because they're from the dimension itself, and they came here, they still have some access to the power, and Kamala wouldn't if it wasn't for that bangle. And that's why Cameron can't do it either, and that's why Kamala's family can't do it. So yeah, that's very helpful information that we need. There's a lot of interdimensional stuff that's going on these days in the MCU, isn't there? You can tell the MCU is just getting higher and higher in its scale. Well, obviously. It's just, I didn't think a show like... Because I don't know Miss Marvel lore or anything, I didn't think a show like this would tackle interdimensional stuff. I thought it was going to be quite grounded. Huh. So that's very interesting. And it turns out these people are the Jinn, which is apparently like a Muslim Pakistani boogeyman story. So it's like the stories of that we have of like werewolves, monsters under the bed, boogeymen, vampires, werewolves. That's what the Jinn are. To some they're known as genies, to other demons. And what did Abu say they were when he was talking with Bruno? Supernatural beings of pre-Islamic folklore. Okay. And apparently there was a legend about these people, about Cameron's family. So, yeah, they've been here for a long time, wanting to find a way back home. But because they separated back in the 40s, they lost sight of Aisha. And they've been looking for the bangle ever since, and now they've found it because Kamala has picked it up and used it. So it was like a homing beacon that called to them. So we're still on the Jinn, and when they first pitched the idea to her, like, we're just trying to find a way home, that's it, and you're your band can help us. Bruno was the one that pointed it out to her that it could be very dangerous if you need the base power of the sun to do it. So yeah, big problems. Maybe Captain Marvel can do it. Maybe phone Carol Danvers and get her here, because she could do it because she's that powerful. I don't think Kamala's on that level just yet. And when they had the text in between Kamala and Cameron before, saying that I don't think I can do it right now, it seems a bit too dangerous, and then he's saying focus on the family, we'll figure things out. I thought, at least Cameron's been understanding, at least the family's been understanding that it's not going to happen. I said so in the reaction as well. I was like, oh, they're nice people for waiting. Turns out not so much, because like 5 minutes later, if that, probably more, but such a short time later, it turns out that the mum, what was her name? Najma. Najma. So, yeah. It was actually her who was texting Kamala. And then they just straight up contradicted what I thought they were doing. They were like saying, no, we want a home now, we're not waiting anymore, we're not asking permission, we're doing it and we don't care if it hurts Kamala whatsoever. So, obviously Cameron's against it. But yeah, I suppose we needed to get introduced to the villains of this series at some point, and honestly, when they invaded the wedding and started causing trouble, it was badass. They're an intimidating group of people, and they fight awesomely as well. I was very entertained by the fighting. But yeah, after being held off for a bit by Kamala, Bruno, and Cameron, yeah, eventually Damage Control stepped in. Because honestly, at that point, when she was surrounded on all four sides, I was like, who is going to help her here? Because we did see Nakia run off. I'm skipping too much ahead here, but okay. We'll come back to that scene later. There's also the other stuff that happened in this episode where Damage Control invaded the mosque, and they tried taking a search around the premises, but Nakia and the head of the mosque put them in their places and say, you can't come in here without warrant. Yeah, get out of here. And they sent Damage Control packing. So yeah, that was fun. Nakia's a board member as well, so she's up there. She's got a board she's part of the board now. She can make things better for the women in the mosque, possibly. And she won't have her shoes stolen constantly as well. I do love their chemistry together when Nakia just barges into Kamala's room and flops down onto her bed, and they just start having the conversation. I love it. It's such fun conversation. Kamala really is adorable. She really is adorable. And afterwards, we have a little pre-wedding party in the house, where Kamala then talks to the head of the mosque, and he's the one who delivers the line that I've heard so much associated with Kamala. Good isn't a thing you are, it's something you do. So he's the one who delivers the line. In the game, it's actually Abu who does it, Yusuf who does it. But here it was the head of the mosque. And that is also where she opens her little packet from Bruno and gets her mask. I can see the costume coming together piece by piece. Because last episode she was wearing the Captain Marvel cosplay costume. Pieces of her costume are coming together piece by piece. First episode it was the bangle, this episode it was the mask. I imagine we're going to see this slowly come together as time goes by. And I like it a lot. I like it when we build to a costume, we don't have it straight away. And especially like it when it gets assembled piece by piece. And then later on we had two very nice scenes where the mum talked to Kamala and the dad talked to the brother, and how the mum said that everyone has a mountain they have to climb, but in her experience the best way to cope with climbing that mountain is to have their family around them. And the dad had a similar conversation with the son, the brother, just before the wedding. A man who chooses family is never alone. So yeah, very two conversations that were told in different ways, but basically tell the same message. Oh yes, it was nice. And then we had the wedding, the dance number, the Punjabi dance number. I'm not sure, but I think so. And it was a nice celebration. It was a nice celebration coming along until the jinn people showed up. And then, we see during that part, certain people notice that Kamala is gone, and Nakia sneaks off. And I'm wondering where to. And then that's when we go back to the scene where Kamala and Bruno were surrounded on all four sides by the jinn. I thought Nakia was going to somehow show up and help, but no, it was Damage Control who showed up, and they arrested all the jinn people, including Cameron. So we're going to have to somehow get him out of there somehow. But yeah, Damage Control, you need to work on your capturing skills. I mean, you did capture 5 people, but you've missed out on Kamala twice. A 16-year-old girl has outwitted you twice, and I wonder how the hell that happens. But yeah, Kamala and Bruno make it outside where Nakia is waiting, and she sees Kamala's powers, so Nakia now knows, and from the sounds of it, it sounds like she's going to be a bit upset that Kamala didn't tell her. Oh. I don't want to see their friendship broken. They had such a nice scene and such nice dialogue earlier on. I don't want to see it broken. And Kamala returns home to the family, and they keep telling her that you can tell us anything you want. And even though she heard those 2 conversations earlier on, when the mum had it with her and the dad had it with the son, she heard those 2 conversations about you needing your family around you, and she's still not talking. She's still not telling. And they know that she also pulled the fire alarm at the party as well, so I imagine the brother and his wife are fucking livid for ruining the wedding. She did it for a good reason, but they don't know that. So I imagine things are going to be quite awkward with the family. We didn't even get to hear the Bon Jovi tribute act, Brown Jovi. We didn't even get to hear them perform. Oh, heartbreaking. But once Kamala gets into her room, she has another call from Nanny. Sana, her name is, who couldn't make the wedding, but she's saying that she needs to come to Karachi because she's seeing the same visions that Kamala is seeing. Because when Kamala and Najma, when they both clasped when they both grabbed the bangle, they saw an illusion of a train coming towards them, and it turns out that Sana also saw it. So yeah, are we actually going to be leaving Jersey to go over to Karachi? I mean, in Moon Knight we did go to Egypt after being in London for a couple of episodes, so possible. Once again, the ranking as well. This episode, both episodes have been good so far. I think this one is the best one because of the fighting as well. Because of the fighting mostly, because the fighting was so good, and we actually got introduced to the possible villains of this season as well, of this show. So that's very useful information to have for later on. And not to mention, it's progressing things with Nakia as well, with her friend. So, and if we actually end up going to Karachi, that's going to be fucking awesome. So yeah, we'll see where this all goes in the next episode. But for now, that is all we've got for Miss Marvel. Until next time, we are over and out. Bye!